Welcome to section 4, Information and Technology Dimension of the Practice. In the exam of the total 20 questions, there will be 3 questions from this section. These would be a mix of understanding and application type of questions. The tool questions, if any, would be the understanding type, and the automation recommendation questions would be of the application type. So essentially, from an exam perspective, we are going to understand the tools and also learn how to apply the recommendations for automation. This practice, just like many other practices, can significantly benefit from automation. In ITIL, automation is defined as the use of digital technology to enable, support, or enhance various activities. Now, this can be where the technology solutions remove the need for human intervention. It can be partial or full automation. We first look at the various automation solutions or tools that are possible in this practice. The first is the workflow management and collaboration tool. These are generally the ticketing type of tools. And these mainly allow to collaborate during the planning for the monitoring and event management, and also to handle monitoring activities and event trigger records and tasks to support the collaboration between teams performing monitoring and processing events. So what this means is this kind of a tool set allows to collaborate during planning activities for the practice and also to collaborate during specific tasks of the practice. For example, to escalate an event to a specific technical specialist, and also to perform the individual tasks of monitoring and event management. For example, to open a record manually and so on. Then we have the next one, that is the monitoring and event management tools, including native, built-in, and add-on tools for monitoring of systems, services, and business operations. So let's see what this can do. In this, it can help to set up the monitoring scope, the thresholds, health model, rule sets, essentially to implement the monitoring plan. Then, and also to perform the monitoring itself for the component services, systems, business operations, and to capture and process the event. So we need to distinguish clearly between this, the MEM tools, and on the previous entry, the workflow management and collaboration tools. So the workflow management and collaboration tools help for the activities among the people or the individuals, whereas the tools are the ones which are useful for setting up the monitoring and event management and to perform the actual monitoring and to do the automated recording of the events and to perform the filtering, categorization, and so on, unless they are manually being done. And so yeah, so for example, to configure the tool, it should be possible as well. And as I mentioned earlier, the tool itself will perform the monitoring and event management. Then we have the service configuration management tools. These allow to correlate events together and to understand the impact of certain events. Then we have the analysis and reporting tools that also can help with the same event correlation and impact assessment and to perform the practice measurement and reporting. The knowledge management tools, these can help to retrieve, manage, and communicate information about events, significance, and recommended purpose. Now, the word communication comes here. Workflow management and collaboration also helps to communicate among team members who are performing the practice, but the knowledge management tools are particularly for communicating useful information to others, like lessons or specific guidelines or procedures. So that's how we should distinguish between those tools. Let's take a look at some of the realities of these tools. If I'm taking you to the supporting material, it's available to you in your e-learning access. And for example, these are some of the workflow and collaboration tools available in the market. This is not an exhaustive list, but this is something where I have had some experience. So therefore, these are listed here. And you might be using any of these or maybe something else. Doesn't matter, as long as it's suited to you and your environment, that's good enough. The service configuration management tools, these are some known ones that I'm familiar with. And these are again marketed tools. I'm not trying to market any specific tools here. Then we have the actual the monitoring and event management tools itself. These are the ones which are really relevant to this practice and the core for this practice. So these are some interesting or well-known tools, but there's no dearth of such tools. There are so many available. And the knowledge management, there are quite a few good ones as well. Notion, just on that last one, Notion, it's quite a good tool for personal use as well, for our own usage. And we also have the analysis and reporting tools. Some of these are rather new because most of this analysis is done manually by humans and experts, but new tools are emerging where that can do some generative AI-based tools that can do some analysis and reporting as well for the practice. This can create dashboards, etc., and reports. And I've got the service configuration management tool. Essentially, such a system or a tool will allow anyone to check, or specific authorized individual to check the various services that are running, and the connectivity between or the relationships among the configuration items of a service, and also sometimes this relationships between services. So you see, for example, we have the Cisco router here, and so the Java application server is supported by that, and then you also see the router connected with other switches, and the app server is also connected to. I mean, it's connected with other servers like storage devices and other services as well. So it can show even the service connections. So these are very useful in understanding whether more about a certain event that has occurred and to do some analysis. Yeah, so essentially it helps to correlate events and to perform the impact assessment of certain events.